Well, the Bro Joe build. So I'm just gonna recap real quick. Pretty much what went on the last time I went out with the car. The last video, which I'll put the card up right there. The car went 1056, and I left there knowing that the car had more in it. And I guess going forward, I want to do. We could do I'll do a series of videos of like little tips, I guess, and tricks and things to look out for, um, to get your combination to work better and to go quicker. So far the best the car's done is 1056. I know that there's more in it, with just within the tune-up, but even without the tune-up itself, there are other things that you could check and go over. We had a hell of a weekend on May 3rd when we took the car out. Uh, Anything that could go wrong went wrong. From just running late, getting there to we hit a spare tire. Like someone's tire came off their vehicle, and we ended up hitting it with our trailer. We lost the tire on the trailer. Thank God it didn't get worse than that. Then uh, because of the jolt, it kind of broke the rear shock mount, which is on the to-do list to fix. So I need to fix the mount on the rear shock. Um, what else went on? We go through tech, everything goes fine. I make the first pass, and in that video, I talk about how I thought the car was running lean, and this is where I made my first boo boo. One, the spark plugs that were in it were from the last time I went to the racetrack, where the car was running lean. So the plugs still has some peppering on it. So I pulled the plugs out, forgetting that, and they did look rich and lean at the same time. Because you see, some peppering in the plug, you automatically, want to take care of that right away. So I know the jet wise, it was a little bit on the fat side to begin with. It should have been fat. So I was like, maybe someone changed the air bleeds on the carb, secondhand carb. So let me, throw more jet at it and see what happens. And I definitely went the wrong way with the jet. It was way too fat. The car didn't even want to really get on the converter the way it should, like the way it would do in the garage. In a way, it was too fat. But being that it was a madhouse at the track, and there was a lot of sport compacts that day, we couldn't make that many passes. A lot of cars were braking, and we only were able to make three passes. So, um, after that second pass, I knew I needed to pull jet out of it. I already knew it, but because I was afraid that we weren't going to be able to make another pass because of what was going on, I just lined the car back up and I just launched it a little harder or whatnot, and the car actually just repeated. It just ran the same time, just with ironically a slower 60 footer, and but more mile an hour, and made it up at the end. It ended up running right on the number, another 1056. So um, a lot went on. I had a fuel leak. By the time I so I jumped around here. So I saw the peppering in the plug. We up the jet. We go turn the car on, and the car doesn't turn on. Turns out, uh, the I again my mistake. I had left the distributor a little bit loose. I never snugged it down all the way, and the distributor popped out. It jumped timing. Of course, when I we figure it out, get it back on timing, turns back on. All right, now let's set the actual timing, and I brought the time light cord, but not the time light. So yeah, it it was one of those days. So we had a lot of things slowing us down and not making the day go as smoothly as it we will have hoped. Um, but all that being said, There's still plenty of promise with this. I think uh, with just fixing the tune-up itself, it should be able to run right into 1030s for the most part. That I'm just we're spitballing here. But I found a second problem. So this is a free tech tip and something to look for in your race car, or even a street car. Doesn't matter what it is. So right now, many have asked. I scaled the car with me in it, 160 pounds. The car weighed 2980. So subtract, you know, it's I'm under pressure here. A 2820. Jesus, don't judge me. So uh, the car is fairly light, for a Nova. Uh, Again, fiberglass nose, bumpers, hood, and there's nothing else on the car. It's like all GM. Iron headed still, but power glide, 8-inch torque converter. So, and a GM 8.5, which is lighter than a 9-inch. So, but one thing I noticed, I was on the went to make uh, my last pass, and everybody's pushing their cars forward, and instead of turning it on, they were just pushing their cars forward. So I got out to do the same, and can't move the car. So I realized when I had the brake issue, I tightened up the rear shoes, and it's not rolling the way it should. The car should be able to move forward and back. One person should be able to move it. So I'm gonna jack up the front, check the front wheels real quick, hit the brakes, try spinning them again, make sure the front brakes aren't hanging up at all, and then I'll move on to the rear, which I know for sure they're just too tight, and hopefully I have a few hundredths or even a tenth there, just in brakes. So that's, I guess, will be, a tip, something to look for or check out on your vehicle, because you have a brake hose that's a little, on the way out, or not way out, but sometimes rubber brake hose will hang up just a little bit. So switching to a braided line would help there. Just better brakes, which I do have put away for the car. I think that's gonna be a future modification. Right now, we're just gonna go with the cheap stuff, or almost cost you nothing. So for this time around, what I'm gonna do is again, make sure I have no brake drag. I will definitely go back into jetting, and then I'll bring my timing light with me, and then we'll go through the tune-up one more time. And I think that'd be a more fair assessment of where the car is at. And then from there, we could do gradual steps of seeing how close and like how far am I really away from that 9-second pass, right? I'm hunting for the nines. So how much more horsepower do I need? How much more I could free up from the combination, and where the car is actually slowing down. The last time out, the car 60-footed like crap. It was pretty bad. It's not the worst thing in the world, don't get me wrong, but it was in the upper 1.4s and 1.5, lower 1.5s, and with the car not running right the first time out with the car, I know the car did 1.46. So I think I should be able to get in the lower 1.4s and maybe even closer to 1.3s, or not in the 1.3s, just with everything dialed the way it should. So I'm gonna free up the brakes, and I'm going to go back with just rejet the carb, set the tune up right. like I said, I'm pretty sure it should run. I probably should be able to get 2 temps right off of it, maybe more, but I'm shooting for 2 temps. And if I get the car in the 10.3s, then from there we'll um, do more, you know, budget techie stuff to try and make the car go quicker. Another problem, which I think attributed to the brakes, was converter slippage. Um, my converter was slipping at close to 10% when I measured 10%, maybe even a little bit more, because the last pass, of which I was able to pay attention to attack, uh, the car almost trapped almost 8,000 RPMs. So she was screaming. She was definitely going through traps at RPMs. I priced 7,800. It didn't hit the chip. I have an 8,000 RPM chip, so it didn't hit the chip, but it was right there. When it probably should have went through traps around 7,200. So like it was losing a lot in slippage, and I think it's because of how much the brakes were dragging. So check your brakes, make sure nothing's dragging, so that it's not killing your ET. So that's your tech tip for today. And like, share, subscribe. This is Bro Joe Build. Hopefully I go back racing this week, so that means you'll have another racing video quite soon. I might be going alone, so I already ordered a mount to record from inside the car. So the next videos will be in-car footage, and you'll see me pilot this thing. So like, share, subscribe. Bro Joe Builds. God bless. It moves much better now. So do that.